Yo, yo, yo. What up, peoples? So, do this quick video talking about why apes don't ask questions. But before I start this video, I want to say I've deleted about half the videos on my page. Probably even more than half on some Thanos shit. Fuck Thanos season. So, a lot of the content on this channel has been removed. So, if you want to get access to a lot of the special content, you have to sign up for my Patreon. That's what it is. So if you're interested in that, just what I'm saying, leave a comment below or something. A lot of my videos, if you follow my channel, you'll notice a lot of my videos is gone. So I also want to say too that it's different tiers in my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? So you only have access to certain videos depending on which tier you're in. So you know what I'm saying? If you're interested, just leave a comment below. But I want to talk real quick about what I'm saying, why apes don't ask questions. Now, long time ago, somebody told me this shit, and I ain't understand the significance of it. So it takes a lot of time to develop this thought, to really see this thought in motion. Keep this in mind as you throughout the day, as you talking to people, and just ask yourself: is this person asking me questions? 9 times out of 10, if they're not asking you questions, then you know what I'm saying? Like, you can use this video as a reference. Because basically, in a nutshell, what it says is that I was doing research, and it was explaining how you can teach apes all type of communication types. You can teach them sign language. You can teach them even certain sounds they can pronounce. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing you can't teach an ape to do is to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, then you think, I was like, why you think that is? Apes can say a lot of stuff, but like they can say, they're happy, they're sad, they're upset. They can explain their emotions. They can say, "Give me that. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty." They can ask for their mom. They do all type of shit, but they can't ask questions. So, questions is a trait that only humans have. You know what I'm saying? Um, so even dogs, like a dog can communicate to you, but it can't ask questions. So um, when you talking to somebody, well, the reason that they can't ask questions is because they say that they don't have no meta. And meta, in the concept that you think of metaphysical, or the ability to perceive the fact that somebody else outside of their brain knows something that they don't know. Like, this is difficult for apes to understand. Like there's another brain functioning outside their own brain. Apes don't get this. So I'm saying, they think that they the only brain in this universe. So what else could there possibly? What else do I possibly need to know? You know what I'm saying? Like, apes don't know that they need to know shit, so they don't ask no questions. They assume that they already know. They assume that they smarter than you. Why am I telling you this? Because a lot of the signs that you deal with, a lot of people you deal with are the same way. If you talking to somebody, you trying to teach somebody something. You know what I'm saying? If you ever find yourself into a teacher-student situation, you know what I'm saying? Or like you trying to put somebody on game, explaining something to somebody else, and they not asking you no questions in general. Like matter of fact, like what they doing is certain, they trying to teach you something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's becoming an exchange. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you be going back and forth with somebody, and in the middle of going back and forth, like I said this in other videos, you could even tell somebody, man, Google the shit. Like, a lot of times Google will solve a lot of the arguments. You know what I'm saying? But then you get some people who don't even want to Google the shit because they don't have no interest in the actual, and they don't have no interest in what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So like, a lot of times you got to fool yourself in, and like when you explain something to somebody, you talking to somebody, pay attention if they asking you questions or not. Because if they're not asking you questions, more than likely, like they not. It's like an ape almost. They not. It's not a. It's not an engagement. You see what I'm saying? It's not a lot of times I talk to like water signs, even earth signs. Not earth signs as much, but water signs the most. I would say more than anything. Generally, just do not ask questions in none of what you're saying. And like what you realize is that like they don't really have no interest in what you're saying. They just passing the time. They just passing the conversation. So if you actually trying to get to a point, you know what I'm saying, and like you trying to actually get a point across, like 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna get the point across. You know what I'm saying, when dealing with signs that don't ask questions. And like I said, most people I know is water signs do that shit more than any of them. Like I'll be like, man, I do trade stocks, and they'll be like, oh, well, no, I don't trade stocks, but I heard about that shit. My friend do that. He been trading. Matter of fact, have you heard about this stock? Da, da, da. Like, you be trying to teach motherfuckers how to trade stocks, and then they be sitting there telling you about a stock that they didn't heard their friend mention. And like, mind you, they don't ask you shit. Like, that's how the conversation will sound. Like, or like another example, you'll be like, you know, have do you know your moon sign? Do you know the zodiac sign? Like, you ask them, like, you might ask them, hey, do you know what time you're born? And then they'll be like, oh, you went to astrology? Oh, I used to be in astrology. Oh, my friend used to study that shit. Like, they won't even, like they can't take a hint. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like talking to an ape almost. Like, it's like, Joe, take a hint. This conversation goes to what? So, use this video as a reference. You know what I'm saying? To when you engaging people, pay attention if they ask you questions or not. And Hood X Lit, we got a concept called jumping into Smith. Jumping into Smith basically means that, like, instead of them jumping into you, you jump into them. And the best way to jump into somebody else is by asking them questions. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you watch Jeopardy, they say the answer has to be in the form of a question. You know what I'm saying? And the reason, that I suggest a lot of times people do that is because it makes people come to their own conclusions instead of you forcing the answer on them. You see what I'm saying? Not even necessarily forcing the answer on them, but just like, it's better to people to draw their own conclusions than to hey, thanks for the donation. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you sign up for the Patreon too. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the videos is gone. I appreciate the donation. So when you think of Jeopardy and they say like every now and then you'll see somebody answer a question and they won't put it in the form of a question. You know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, sorry, you were right, but you didn't answer in the form of a question. Practice doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's better for people to draw their own conclusions instead of you having to bring them to the point. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you're dealing with even a lot of times fire signs, they don't ask the right questions either. You know what I'm saying? But I'd say like water and fire signs for the most part just do not ask questions when they should be asking questions. It's like if you go, I had a video where I was talking about Cain. Like if you're reading the Bible, you know what I'm saying? God gave instruction to Cain to go do a sacrifice. He gave instruction to Cain and Abel. Cain did it the way he wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then got mad when God didn't accept his sacrifice. He got mad. So God tried to explain. He was like, man, it's cool. You ain't gotta be mad. Just do it again, and it'll be cool. And then he went and killed his brother. You know what I'm saying? So Cain ain't asking no questions. Like, this is like, you got these type of people. You give them instruction, they do it how they want to do it. They don't ask you no questions. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't accept it, and then they get mad and quit and leave. And then a lot of times, even with water signs, like what water signs do, they end up trying to teach their teacher. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be like, oh well, it's always one side. Like I was like, man, like, when you're looking at a situation with a teacher-student situation, is it better that the student adjusts to the teacher or the teacher adjusts to the student? It can't really be both. Water's trying to tell you it's both. It's like, man, the teacher's supposed to adjust to the student and the student. It's like, nah, Joe, the teacher needs to be comfortable. The teacher needs to be, like, this is why a lot of shit is online now, is that you can't engage the teacher. It's like, it's recordings and shit. You see what I'm saying? So, like, the teacher needs to put the information out and the student needs to adjust to receive it. You know what I'm saying? Especially like in a situation where it's recorded, you can't even interact with the teacher. Last time I'm seeing like water signs, they want to sit there and engage the teacher and like be friends with the teacher and like try to like, you know what I'm saying, exchange information with the teacher more so than asking questions to understand the deeper points. When you understand what the word interest is, like interest is a key word with air signs. People think they understand what interest is. Interest is like emotions is kind of a key word with water signs. Interest is a key word with air signs. Because interest is not just interest in there, like, oh, I want to hear what you have to say. Interest is actually like when you think of interest in a money situation, interest is like what you have to pay on top of, whatever it is that you learn. I mean, whatever it is that you got. So like interest is like, okay, if I give you $100 with 10% interest, that means you owe me $110 because you got 10% interest. It's the extra shit on top of what was paid. The same thing applies in air situations. And the interest is, like, if we sit there talking about this, and you actually ask me questions and try to get a deeper understanding of what it is that I'm saying. It's the shit that you go above and beyond besides the regular dialogue. Water signs, a lot of times, even fire signs, they don't have no interest in that. Like, it's just some shit to talk. You just sitting there talking, passing time. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I say this, then they say this, then I say this, then you say this, and then I say this, and then you say this. You see what I'm saying? There's no learning here per se. This is like leisurely conversation. I had a video talking about this, like leisure conversation. You know what I'm saying? So even especially in a relationship, like if you're in a relationship with a water sign, you're in a relationship with a fire sign. You see what I'm saying? They not interested. Believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, they not genuinely interested in your perspective. Like they hearing what you're saying, but they not interested. Um there's no extra dialogue in that regard. Like they're not genuinely interested. When you genuinely interested, you come to somebody, you ask some questions, and you like, okay, well, why? You know, well, why does this mean this? And what, like if they not asking you that shit, use this video as a reference. You see what I'm saying? Apes don't ask questions. They don't even have the ability to ask questions. They can't think deeper. There's no meta there. They don't even think that there's a possibility that somebody outside their own brain can have an opinion that's better than their own. I mean, better than their own. Like there's another word, it's called superior. You see what I'm saying? And that people don't think that, like a lot of times water sign and fire signs, they don't believe that there's somebody superior to them. The word even superior is offensive from his perspective. And then you talk about superior knowledge, superior information, superior perspective, superior fruit on the tree. You see what I'm saying? Like to that, it becomes then it's like it get into like water sign, they get offended. So then what happens is the teacher got to take time learning how to not be offensive to the student type shit. You see what I'm saying? So you'd be like, this is the dynamic you fall into a lot of times with you see what I'm saying, with people who don't ask questions. It's like they trying to draw you into a fucking into a dynamic that with instead of you trying to make a point or make sure they learn a point, it's just y'all just having a regular leisurely conversation. You know what I'm saying? So like me, I'm a part of multiple organizations that like people who teach me instruction. Like, see what I'm saying? Like I'm in like several different companies. Transamerica, I study with Jehovah's Witnesses, I study with Comedics, I study with you know what I'm saying, different people who teach me different stocks, like Tasty Trade, you see what I'm saying, Tom Solznoff, that's the guy that actually created Tasty Trade, you see what I'm saying, who created Think or Swim platform, you see what I'm saying. I study under him. I studied under hella people, like people who teach me, I have had several people who I've studied under teach me drywall, you see what I'm saying, where I just be a student, you see what I'm saying. I'm constantly putting myself as a student to somebody else who actually has something to teach me other than me learning emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get through. I know hella water signs. Like I didn't sat under hella water signs and gone through this dynamic where like, okay, I'm supposed to be the teacher, they're supposed to be the student, but then okay, I got to sit here and learn patience. Like you know what I'm saying? I've done this with multiple water signs. You see what I'm saying? So, and then like by the time it come out, it's like there's no fruit on that tree. So like I've sat under multiple teachers per se. You have to look at the people you're talking to and ask yourself, man, who are they teachers? A lot of the people who don't ask questions, they don't have no teachers. They don't fall under nobody. Like they don't be parts of no organizations. They think they know. They don't look outside they self for any other thing. So they literally ain't part of no they in no organizations, no business, like not businesses, but like me as an air sign, like I be in cliques, like different. Like some cliques totally oppose other cliques. Like you know what I'm saying, like same shit. Like I study under astrology. You know what I'm saying? So like you study astrology, you're not technically like they tell you you're not supposed to be studying that and Christianity. So I'm saying, but I have a fucking astrology teacher and I have a Christian. I've fallen the cliques that actually go against each other, and I still a lot of times don't even exchange that information. Like you know what I'm saying, like the people I study Jehovah's Witness material with, like you know what I'm saying, I don't discuss astrology shit with them. You know what I'm saying, I don't discuss comedic shit with them. I just ask them questions and try to get a real good understanding of their universe. You see what I'm saying? But you know, you got the type people who sit there and try to teach astrology to Jehovah's Witness people, or you got, you know what I'm saying, me sitting, or like people me sitting there trying to teach Jehovah's Witness shit to fucking astrology people. Like you know what I'm saying, you got people that do this shit, like they don't know how to keep the information in the universe for what it is, like you know what I'm saying, and actually find interest in the man, hold on, wait, what the fuck? Did somebody give me another donation? They don't know how to find interest and keep it in that universe. Hold on, I am in a relationship with a water sign. He is super superior acting. Sometimes a narcissist refuses to learn what he thinks to be honest. Yeah, that's why I'm making. Thank you for the donation too, Aqua Aquarian. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, like I get that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I made oh shit. That's why I made this motherfucking video to talk about this shit. And like a lot of times it's kind of fucked up to say, but like, you know what I'm saying, you're not necessarily dealing with apes, but you dealing with that type of people that just don't ask questions. You see what I'm saying? And if you have to explain to somebody to ask questions, you see what I'm saying? And they be like, oh shit, I'm not asking. And then they actually start doing it. You see what I'm saying? They still don't get it, believe it or not. Like, you see what I'm saying? You can show this to somebody, or you can explain this to somebody, and like they'll get offended. Like, what you calling me an ape? Then like, no, I'm just you gotta, use like there's a certain type of people who ask questions, and there's a certain type of people that don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll get what you're saying, and then they'll adjust. But like, trust me, they still not a naturally inquisitive person. You see what I'm saying? About the shit that you should technically be, like the exact shit that you should be asking. Like 9 out of 10 people don't ask. They actually like it. Like this is where the Mars energy kick in. Like, you see what I'm saying? Where like they actually go against you, or they actually be, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh well, where the back and forth shit kick in. Usually like right there, where like a lot of times in 10, somebody should just be asking. Somebody genuinely just asked a question, and somebody genuinely had the interest in the other person from their perspective. Then if 9 out of 10, it wouldn't be no arguments. I've also noticed too, man, like a lot of times, especially women, like women will be with a dude they don't even like. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they like a lot of times people just want to win the argument. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to my friend the other day about you know what I'm saying, women who marrying men that they don't even like. You know what I'm saying? And we was talking about like something like 70-80% of women don't even like they man. You know what I'm saying? They love them, yeah, but like they don't like them. And like when you ask them, okay, well, what do you like? You know what I'm saying? It was like 9 times out of the shit they gonna say is gonna be some shit back directed. Oh, you're a very giving person. He's very nice, very charming. You're saying he opened the door for me. He was nice to me. It's like, Joe, this is all shit to do with you. What do you genuinely like about your man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Most women don't like their man, just like who their man is. And like, oh, well, I like him because he's into this or he's into that. And we both do these things. I'm into, he's a cook and I'm a chef. So we cook together. Or he's a fucking, he's an he's into electronics and I'm into fucking, I don't know, like fucking, I'm in electronics, so we bond on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, most relationships don't even be on no shit like that. It be based on like what you can do for the other person and shit like that. So like, you have to remember that like, people enter these relationships somebody don't even like, and then like that's another reason why they're not asking questions, because like they trying to teach each other, and like it really comes down to like who the fuck really trying to win this argument. So nobody's asking nobody questions. Like, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, y'all don't even like each other. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta realize that shit. Like, y'all don't even like each other. And you can tell because y'all not asking the questions that's like two people who genuinely interested in the same shit, like they would naturally start asking questions because like this must be going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Not saying if this shit ain't going nowhere, ain't nobody asking no questions. They just like it's just two motherfuckers trying to win an argument. You know what I'm saying? So you have to like get outside of these patterns and shit and just like start asking yourself like, hey, this motherfucker ain't asked me a question this whole one dialogue where they not interested in your perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you get the point of what I'm saying. And I want to thank y'all for the donations. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you sign up for my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? And because that way you get more access to my videos. I appreciate the donations, but just consider signing up for my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? It's a better way to donate. And expand access to the videos because a lot of these videos ain't gonna be staying on the page. So most people know me for astrology. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like all the extra shit, interest. You know what I'm saying? I had to start pulling that shit down and like putting it aside. So videos like this a lot of times probably gonna be coming down. So please consider signing up for my Patreon. Appreciate all of the subscribers, all of the donations, man. And I'm gonna see y'all sometime real soon. All right? I'm sitting in a massage chair right now, getting a massage. So yeah, feels good. Feel about Scorpio women? I don't feel any way about Scorpio women, believe it or not. I really don't know too many Scorpio women. I think I got some videos on Scorpios. You can check it out. You know what I'm saying? Check out my video on Scorpio. I got like a fucking like a 1 hour video and then another 1 hour video, then like a 3 hour video on why I hate Scorpios. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like 5 hours of information of me talking about Scorpios on this page. And then there's also a video where I was talking about I got several videos out here talking about Scorpios. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Go through the page. There's a lot of good information on it. But I gotta get the fuck about it though, because I got some crazy shit I actually gotta do, which I'm gonna keep to myself. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. You dig.